Okay, so we're going live and the class is starting. We are of course doing OET Writing Week, and it's the final class in OET Writing Week. We're going to try and look at two paragraphs. Today we're going to look at the current condition and the background paragraphs. Let's just make sure that everyone can see my screen today. Can you all see? Oh, I hope this is the right one. Can you see this?
Yes.
Is that the right? That is the right one, isn't it? Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to start off by reviewing the case notes really quickly, and then we'll review your writing. All right. I don't think I'll do a warm-up because I want to try and grade as much of your work today as I can. Okay, so let's just start by reviewing the case notes quickly. The name of the patient is Hisham, fella, ideal. What's the name of this guy? James Smith, and his age?
15 years.
And what's his condition? Does anyone remember?
He has pneumonia.
Yeah.
And yeah, recently he was admitted for acute pneumonia, I think. Yeah, infection.
Fantastic.
And, yeah. So.
Do you want to continue, fella? Summarize the case, please.
Yeah. Sorry. So and because he has cystic fibrosis, this could be a recurrent infection, so we are referring him to the surgeon to discuss a double lung transplant. Yeah.
Fantastic. Is that right, guys? Can everyone say yes, please? Come on,
Yes.
don't be shy. The name of the doctor is, we even know his name. Dr. Stark. Right. What type of letter is this,
Referral.
everyone?
Referral.
The referral letter. It's unusual for a referral letter because where are we writing from?
Emergency department.
Yeah, and we're only transferring him to the surgeon, right? Usually you would, most of the examples we have for OET, official examples, you're in the clinic and transferring to a specialist in that sense. Is it primary care, they would call it? But of course, this can happen. So we've looked at these case notes a lot already, so I won't say any more about this. But I will have to review what we did this week, just in case anyone's not sure about this class. This is like a 4-day class. Right, we started on Monday, guys, and if someone just to review, if I ask Ashley, you could say hello, or Elena.
Hello.
Hello, tell us, what did we do on Monday? What was the thing that we produced?
We select the case notes,
Yeah, and we produced
paragraphs. We planned paragraphs.
Yeah, we planned everything, right? All the paragraphs, everything here. We talked about that on Monday. Homework on Monday night for Tuesday was what? I should just say, everyone, you can all shout out. We did on Tuesday, we did
introduction and request.
We did this and this. We wrote that on Tuesday. Thank you, Morella. Let me ask Betul, what did we do yesterday? We've done these already.
We did yesterday timeline paragraph.
We did the timeline, okay, and I thought those were quite good in general.
Yeah.
So we just had 2 left to do, didn't we? They were, guys, we're just reviewing. They were
Current condition and background paragraph.
exactly how, and this is a bit of a. I was saying to the nurses, I'll say it to you. I want to do some IPP here, right? So in your own words, could you tell me a bit more about how you found it when you wrote these? I'm leaving space for you guys now. Go on.
Because of we summarized, I think it was not that easy, not that so difficult.
Okay, so a bit tricky. Can anyone tell me what aspects you found a bit difficult? Which specific case notes? What about the family? Let me ask someone about the family. I'm going to call out names. Farid, if you're there, or Razhan. How did you find writing about the family in the current condition? Was that okay for you? If there's no Razhan, yeah.
Yes, it was okay to discuss with the family about homeschooling because of increased admissions at hospital and absence in the school.
So you didn't find it hard with phrasing? Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. All right, so I think I'm going to start to review them. Does anyone have any questions about what we've done this week? Is there anything I've said that's unclear, or you want me to go into a bit more detail? Obviously, I'm going to grade this part of the letter for you now. Maybe you want to say something about something from yesterday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, good. sometimes I worry that I don't leave enough space for people to ask questions. So we're going to start to grade this now. And I think we should just remind ourselves of the case notes before we start, okay? Current condition, right? Where is the current condition in the case notes? What are we looking at here?
Today.
Anyone tell me the date? It's the same,
Today.
is it the same day as the day we're writing the letter?
Yes, 17.
Yeah, it's nice that these new case notes have we know that we're writing today, and we know that this is so are we going to include all of this stuff?
Yes.
Do you remember? More or less, I think. Yeah, I think it was almost
Yes.
everything, wasn't it? Because think about it, this is very relevant to the reader. Yes, question.
Yes, I'm sorry, I just
That's okay.
interrupted you. I didn't add the discussion about the time in school because we are referring a transplantation surgeon. So I thought like that this is not a point that will a surgeon interest. You know, this point will be about GP. You know, I thought like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, look,
but
he's got to assess him to see whether he can do a double lung transplant. Don't you think he should know that he's made a satisfactory clinical recovery?
we should add none of this, but I didn't add the school discussion. You know, there's a
the
discussion.
school one, right?
So
Okay.
I thought this is not relevant with surgeon.
Okay, we could have discussed this on Monday, but I'm happy to discuss a little bit today, guys. I think it is relevant. Think about it. Why is that relevant to him?
It is relevant because maybe like that, the surgeon don't have to give that advice. He don't have to tell the family, or maybe just to try to push more than to accept homeschooling, maybe.
Yeah, but that's a good point. So I would take that, and I would say there's even more reasons. Look, do the parents already know that he's going to be in school less? Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Well, that's kind of relevant context, isn't it? Because if he has this operation, he's going to be even more away from school.
Yeah.
Right? This is what we would call, but if we go back to what I said on that first day, Yijit, right? Remember I was saying on Monday, there's two types of relevant case notes. It's very useful to think about like this. These are quotation marks. So one more time, guys, what does a quotation mark tell me? Put this in. Is this what I'm saying? What does it mean in quotations? You all know this.
That we have to write them,
but,
because there is a need.
Well, no, what I'm saying here is, what does this quotation mark mean? Right, Asli or Batul? It means that it's not Alan's opinion, right?
It's OET's opinion.
I'm quoting OET, right? So Yijit, there's OET say two things about what's relevant and what's not relevant. Okay, they say firstly that it's necessary to continue care. Okay, so Yijit, I agree with you that that's probably not necessary to continue care. Okay.
Okay.
But I think it's appropriate for the reader. The second one is useful for him because this kid might be away from school even more. Okay.
With transplantation.
Yeah. Now,
okay.
Let's say, guys, that he wrote his letter and he didn't put it in. I say to you guys, this is the one you shouldn't make a mistake in, right? That's the stuff, please, 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 you should never get wrong. But this stuff, what did I say? It's useful. What does ambiguous mean?
Not clear.
There's kind of like a flexibility to it. It's black and white. It's not clear. You have to sort of, you know what I mean? You only have 45 minutes, all right? So my answer to your question is, it's appropriate for the reader, but you're right, it's not necessary for care, okay, to continue the care.
Okay, I get the point. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I think, is everyone ready to, does anyone else want to look at these cases and say, what about the background? Where are we getting the background information from? It's here, right? This is the part of the case note. So again, I want you guys just to take note of what needs to be in these paragraphs, because I'm going to focus today a little bit on content. Fella, what does content mean?
Content, it means what's case notes included in our letter.
Yeah, right. There's an OET criteria, guys, which is called content, and it's what goes inside your letter, right? So we've already decided what's going to go in. But when I assess your letters today, I'm going to be saying to you guys, did they mention the family? Is epilepsy there? Is the antibiotics dealt with? Right, so we can focus almost like a checklist. Is that stuff in there? Okay, we'll look at grammar as well. We'll look at conciseness and clarity. We'll look at everything, but let's have a bit of a focus today on this because I didn't do that yesterday. All right, are you all ready for me to start looking at your work? Please don't be shy with this bit, okay? If I say something that you don't understand, or even if you think it's wrong, just politely say, Alan, I disagree because of this. We can have a discussion. Everyone's listening. We can all learn something. To be honest, a lot of the things I know about OET have come from discussing it with doctors, right? Not necessarily from reading it in a book. So discussions are very, very helpful. Feel free to do that, guys. I'm going to start now, okay? So the way I like to do this, the way I think Paul does this as well, is I read it. This is the original one, original para. This is going to be the corrected one. When I stop reading, you guys, I would like you to tell me what the problem is. Okay, I might say some names as well, because I want everyone to join in here. So it's like a game. I read, if I stop, what is the error? Okay, so now James Smith finished his antibiotic session. It's already an error. Can anyone tell me?
Now after comma.
Yeah, Batul, now? Well, firstly, now, does that sound right?
Now it's also
Recently,
this person used past simple with now.
Now, yeah, and then you've got, yeah, you're right. Now with ED. Yeah, she's right. So there's a grammar error, but also it's just a style error. We don't start with now when it's today. What do we say, guys?
Currently.
Currently, yeah. Say currently, or what else can we say?
Today.
On today.
Today, we know it's actually today, don't we? The day we're writing is the same day as the last visit. So I'll go with today. You could probably, it works better than currently. So today, James Smith finished his antibiotic session. Ooh. So he didn't finish it today, did he?
Has finished.
Has finished.
Has finished.
So we've got has. What tense is that?
Present
Present
perfect.
perfect.
So I don't want to say today now, right? I know this is difficult, but I don't want to say today with present perfect. It doesn't. It's okay, but it doesn't sound right now because this is a timestamp, which is only talking about today. Why don't I say something else here now?
Recently, maybe.
Recently works very well with present perfect. So recently, James Smith has finished his antibiotics session. Is it just one session?
No, it's not
No.
session, it's about
Sessions. Okay. Sorry, I keep doing it like this. And he has recovered well. However, he is still facing a high chance of recurrent infection. Okay, so that's that one finished. Let's move on to the next one. Regarding his medical history, so we've got background. He has chronic diseases like cystic fibrosis. So again, it's like a lot of style stuff here. What's wrong with like? Idil?
Including.
Yeah, including. The problem with including even is that's like an example.
Chronic diseases as.
You can't say as.
No.
No.
Or we can just say that he has.
Like we exclude some of.
Yeah, it works.
medical-
I think I said this yesterday. If I say including, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine I said to you guys, okay, so I like lots of food, including hamburgers and pizza. Is that all the food that I like?
No.
It's just examples of some of them. But this, I think we're sort of saying all. We want to say all his chronic diseases, don't we?
Which are?
Yeah. So he has chronic disease, which are relative clause. What else can we say here, guys? He has chronic diseases. Why don't we just say he has?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Such as.
No, again, such as is wrong because it's like it means example, right? I'll give you another. I'll say it again because this is a very common error for doctors, right? So you say, if I said to you, was that Ahmad? If I say, I love cars. I love cars, such as Ferraris. Is that all of the cars that I love?
Oh.
No.
No, that's only one example, right? So it doesn't mean all. So it doesn't work here. Why not just say he has cystic fibrosis, epilepsy, and so that's all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keep it simple. We're still listing here. It's a nice list, so that's good. Additionally, his father was deceased by. Oh, was deceased by. Can't say that.
Deceased as a noun.
Well, this is a verb. Yeah, it's wrong. You can't. It's not a verb, is it? In that sense. Yeah, it's wrong. It's an adjective. So what can I say, guys? His father was
Died directly.
died is not too direct. It's actually okay. His father died due to lung cancer,
lung
right?
cancer.
But that's an active sentence, isn't it? So in OET, we tend to go, especially for death, we would tend to go into the passive. Can anyone give me a passive sentence? Additionally, so we're not going to start with the subject. I know this is passive, sorry. This is passive with two objects. I don't want to start with father. That's the second object. Start with the other object. Lung cancer, right? Lung cancer. Wait a second. How can I do this? It wouldn't be passive, it would be active, wouldn't it? Lung cancer. Killed?
Killed his mother.
It doesn't sound as good either. Maybe, let's go back to this. So his father died due to lung cancer. Okay, rather than died, I'm just trying to find what sounds best, what sounds the best style.
Passed away.
Passed away, who said that?
No.
Isn't it
Ashley?
spoken language that we use?
That's exactly what I had in my mind, passed away, because why am I saying passed away? I'm just trying to think, what do native speakers say? Okay, native speakers, they would say died, sure, but it's a little bit, passed away sounds softer and it's a little bit more, it just sounds nicer.
Alan,
Okay?
isn't it?
Yes, go on.
Isn't the speak language that the phrase that we use?
Speak language?
Yeah, speak language, and it's. We say, and in writing we say stated. Isn't informal?
You mean reported speech?
No. Isn't informal?
Yeah, to say passed away. I don't think so. Let me double check. His father passed away due to. I don't think. See, this is the thing, guys. So I'm going to say no, right? But remember, with informality, it's like a scale. Okay, so it's not like you can just read a book and go, oh yeah, this one is in the informal list. Okay, for me, that's okay. I can imagine a doctor saying that to me or writing that down. Okay, but you're right to raise the issue because it's an important one. Okay, let's just finish this, then we'll think about this in total. Okay, so let's say passed away due to lung cancer at 54 years old. Despite his healthy diet, he has a high BMI of 28.5 and has a sedentary lifestyle. Okay, what's wrong with this?
We don't know nothing regarding his diet.
That's an interesting point. Do we know anything about the diet?
On the case note, no.
Do we look, guys? The diet.
No.
Yes, we do. Healthy diet.
Yeah.
And it's important, isn't it? Because he has to assess how ready he is for a double lung transplant.
Yeah, I missed. Sorry.
Strength, strength of. So I think that's okay. Let's stand back at this now. Try to think like an examiner. Are those two paragraphs good now? Are they? How good do we think these are? What do you think about them?
Good.
I think it's good overall.
Alan, why we cannot use
Errors here, though. Yes, go on.
Why the word deceased is not allowed here?
Yeah, this is a tricky one, actually. Batul, the more I read this now, the more I'm thinking that you're right. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound like the right style. I'm going to go for died. Okay, so Batul, I think Batul's actually was right with that. Why don't we use deceased? Okay, so
deceased. We use a lot of deceased phrase in transplant.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, firstly, what type of word is it? What's the word type?
Adjective.
It can be an adjective, like the deceased man, or it can be a noun sometimes.
Yeah.
You can just say
they're using deceased.
Yeah, remember a noun is anything you can put the in front of, right? So the deceased, Sometimes we say that, right? Why is it wrong here? Well, because it's a verb. You can't use it as a verb. Does that answer your question, fella?
So if we change, we can use the word assist if we change it.
It's a noun or adjective though. So yeah, if you're clever and you can think of a good structure.
Yeah, for example, his father deceased.
Well, it's an adjective.
Yeah.
So his father, what's the verb we need, guys? His father, that actually sounds very nice now, actually. His father.
His father deceased.
No, it's an adjective, guys. What do I need with adjectives?
Was.
No.
So he's not now. He's now alive again.
His father is deceased.
He is deceased, right? Yeah. But then how do I say due to lung cancer? I can't say due to here. Doesn't sound right.
Deceased with, I think, with lung cancer.
I can't say with, no, with lung cancer. No. You could say this, after. After what?
After lung cancer?
After having lung cancer.
Right.
You could say that. How long did he have it for?
We don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. So you could have put that at the end. That's an interesting language point, isn't it? This word deceased. So just try to remember, guys, if this is an adjective or a noun, if you're going to use it in OET, it's probably going to be an adjective, right? So you need be verb. You can use this word here after. That's okay, but you can't say due to. All right. It's because you're using the be verb here, and the structure with be verb is always very strange. Okay. All right, so that's a very interesting one. I like that. Let's move on because I've got so many to do. Okay, let's move on to this one. Again, please ask me these questions, all right? Because we're learning as we assess. Okay, so on today's visit, here's antibiotic treatment. So first problem, so it's a game. What's the problem? First person to tell me.
Name.
Yeah, what is it? I need the name, don't I? Why? Why?
Because it's the beginning of a new paragraph.
First time you use the name in the paragraph, right? You can't say his. Second time, fella? It's okay, right?
Yeah.
So on today's visit, James Smith, what do I need?
Smith.
Yeah, possessive. Antibiotic treatment has finished. Has finished. Did it finish today? Well, there's problems.
We don't know.
We don't know, but I think it's okay here too.
It's it's present perfect, and I can't say today with present perfect like this.
Yeah.
What can I say? Remember?
Recently.
Right? This is this is why this is so useful. This is a very common error, again, in OET for doctors, right? Don't use today with present perfect in the current condition paragraph. It doesn't sound right. Okay, you can't even use currently with present perfect. Recently is the one that you want. Okay, if you're using present perfect, this is this tense here. We all know that's a very difficult tense, right? Okay, so although he has recovered sufficiently, got some contrast, please note he still has remarkable lung infection risk. So again, this is a game. What's the error? Yeah, and I'm doing a class on this tomorrow. We'll review articles. Is it an or ah? It's ah, isn't it? Why is it ah and not an?
Because it's vowel.
Yeah, that's not a vowel. A-E-I-O-U, right? Okay, so his current medications were. So they're current, but it's in the past. Do you see the problem? Betul? Why is that wrong?
We should use present continuous tense, present tense, if we say current.
Is that true then? Are these his medications? We didn't have this in our plan. We've put the medications here. Okay, so they are this, 3 times a day. Where's this coming from?
Current medication.
We didn't really talk about this before.
We have on the case current medication.
Should we have a look?
Yeah,
and maybe we missed something when we planned. Let's have a look. Where are the drugs?
For the reader, current medication on the
right.
left.
Okay, but that's on the 3rd. We've already said this in our letter, right? So whoever did this, that's fine if you want to put it here, but then you're confusing the days a little bit, right?
No, Ellen, below the medical history, current medication.
Current medications.
Oh, right. Where's that?
Below the medical history.
Right. Okay. So are these different ones? We didn't really talk about these, did we?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because he has a chronic disease. He already have, even before he had that medication before, and I suppose they still going on.
Think about the reader. Okay. Think about what he's going to do. I think some of this is relevant. So what is it we would need? All of it, probably, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
And do we need every single detail there? Remember we were talking about that. Do I need BID?
No,
No.
twice.
No.
Do I need
Yes,
breaks
Laura.
down sputum?
No.
Even for cups with food.
So I can summarize it a little bit, but I think it should be in there. And we didn't actually put that in the plan. Sorry, guys. We should have discussed that a bit more. Okay. Any questions? Yes.
Yes, Alan.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, I have
Just fella
some-
first, and then the second voice. Sorry. Yes. Go on.
Thank you.
Yes.
So Alan, if we cannot use today in the current condition, because usually we use today, and then in the current condition we say that we can use present perfect. So if we do not put today in the letter, could this affect our? So if we cannot write today, so how the reader should understand or should?
Yeah, great question. Okay, so you can write today, and people very often do, but you can't then use this tense here, right? So just say today he is recovering well,
It is
right?
recovering.
Or today he reported that, right? That's the issue. It's just what you're going to use with present perfect. Okay, it doesn't mean you can't use today. It's a bit difficult. Present perfect. Some words are not liked by this tense. Does that make
Alan,
sense?
I have a question.
Yeah. Well, actually, there was another person who had a question before you. Who was
sorry,
the other? Who was the other person? There was a male voice. Sorry, sir.
Yes, Chukwuemeka Abani. I think for me, those medications that are under the current medication are medication for chronic illness. So for me, it doesn't. I don't think it's necessary to mention them in details, because it's going to add more word count to our letter. So I will summarize it.
I think you're right. Yeah,
I will summarize it by saying he's a non-cystic fibrosis patient or epileptic patient on medications. On medication.
You might be on appropriate medications. I like that. Okay, so I was just going to say you can summarize more here. You're summarizing very strongly. What do we think, guys? What if you just said he is on appropriate medications in the background para? What do you think? Guys, you're all doctors here.
That would be nice.
I think, tomorrow I'm doing a class with the nurses on summarizing, right? Because some of them are very worried about summarizing, and you should be worried about summarizing because it's very hard to write the letter in 40 minutes, right? Especially if you've got lots of medication. So you do have to look for places where you can reduce down the information without removing it, right? So I like that suggestion, actually. We can talk about that a bit more later, but I think that's a really clever idea. And we've always got to be looking out for these kinds of things, okay? There was one other thing I wanted to, there was someone else had a question as well. Who else had a question here?
Was me?
Yes, go on. Go on, sir.
Motaz. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, can we use like today James Smith doing well after receiving his antibiotic course?
Yeah, so it's just to do with this tense. So if I say is doing well, what tense is that, guys? Let's go into this in more detail. So if I say he's doing well, that tense is?
Present continuous.
Present continuous.
Present continuous, okay. So that one's fine. When you use present continuous, you have a lot more flexibility with what you can use here, right? But I'm just saying, if I use present perfect, fella, what it means as well, it means is that he finished the antibiotics today. Is that true?
So
I say he has finished. it means he finished them today. Is that true according to the case notes? No.
So has finished, it means that it's present, it means something that started in a recent past and still true today.
Well, it's true now that he finished. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that's a state, isn't it?
Mm.
I know it's tricky, okay, with this today. How about this then, guys? So tomorrow, remember I was saying to you, I'm going to do articles, right? And I was saying, what else do you want? And you guys didn't really seem very sure. Why don't I do articles and we'll talk about present perfect with things like today, currently. Yeah. That's actually a very good idea for a class.
Yes, yeah.
I never thought of doing that. So I'll do like a 30-minute on articles and then 30 minutes on what in a current condition paragraph, what can you use here with what tenses? Okay, I think that'll be very useful. So we'll say that for tomorrow. Let's move on because I'm going very slowly here with these. That's okay, but I want to try and do as many as I can. This is the same writer, right? It's the same letter. So it's just paragraph 2. Let me just put this in here. Again, I'm going to read when I stop. Who is the first person who can tell me the problem? According to his medical history, he has a focal epilepsy, chronic sinus infection, and cystic fibrosis. So yeah, there's an error here. Can anyone see the error?
The article?
No article. Does anyone know why?
Because epilepsy, it's a condition.
Yeah, conditions don't have articles usually. Yeah, well done, fella. Right. So do you say he has a cancer? Not usually, right? You would say he has cancer, right? Not usually. Do you say he has a diabetes?
No.
No, because they're conditions. Conditions don't usually use a. Okay. We'll talk about that a bit more tomorrow as well in this class that I'm doing. In addition to that, he has a family history of lung cancer. That's a good way of doing it, a nice summarized way. You don't have to bring the father in, I guess. His BMI is 28.5 and he has a sedentary lifestyle, but he has followed a healthy diet. So I'm sorry, but we need to talk about this, guys. It's not good, is it? Why? Can anyone tell me? What's the problem with but like that?
You cannot start a sentence with but.
Contrast. No, you're allowed to, yeah. It's grammatically possible and okay, but starting a sentence with but is?
It should be in the middle. Yeah.
Should be a conjunction.
Well, it's informal to do that, right? It's the kind of thing you do in a text message or in an informal email. You don't do it in a formal medical letter, okay? And anyway, Paul has done loads of work on using contrast. So why not use contrast? Let's rewrite this sentence, guys.
Despite.
Go on. Let's do it with despite. And I'm going to challenge someone else, though, because I know you know this fella. So I'm going to challenge Indika. Could you say hello?
Hello, sir.
So despite, we're going to do a nice contrast. So despite.
Is BMI.
No, what's the good thing? Let's start with the good thing. Despite, Indika.
Despite a healthy diet.
Good man. So as part of the healthy diet, and I need a comma. Now that second person, what do I want? He
is BMI.
Good is. Come on, it's 28.5. And who am I talking to? This is good. You finish it. Fatima, go on.
And he has a sedentary lifestyle.
Yes. Spelling of sedentary here, guys. Sedentary. How do we spell sedentary? Rajput or Farid or Idil? Sedentary. S-E-D.
Sedentary. S-E-D-E-N-T-A-I-R-Y. Yeah.
This is something you see a lot in IELTS, this word, don't you? It's sort of an IELTS word, but it's useful here. What does it mean, sedentary? Rajput, fella? Abani, what does it mean, sedentary?
Like a person, generalistically.
A lot of exercise. It's not active. He's not active.
Yeah. A bit like me these days, basically, because I work on a computer. When I was a teacher in the past, when I was a classroom teacher, I did not have a sedentary lifestyle, but I guess I have one now, although I do go running once a week. It's no activity, isn't it? Okay. So this is a much better sentence, but what do I need here? First person, sedentary. We all said it before. Lifestyle. Okay, because sedentary is an adjective. All right, so this as a whole, this writing, not bad. There's a few important errors that you've made at the start, and you've made some tense errors here, okay? But I like that you saw the necessity of the medication, which, to be honest, the whole class did not discuss so much on Monday, okay? Does anyone have any questions before I move on to the next para?
Yes,
go on.
Question. If in the case note, he mentioned that the patient had no formal exercise, can you judge that and say that he has a sedentary lifestyle?
That's a good question. So sedentary is quite a strong word. It does sort of, you do think of someone who just plays video games all day and just watches TV all the time, right? So you have to be careful with your language there. Was that Mohammed?
Yeah.
So what's the language you're using? No formal exercise.
No formal
so
exercise.
It might be that he has no formal exercise, but informal exercise, walking, you know, hiking with friends, that's not really a formal exercise. So I would say no, don't say sedentary.
How you can paraphrase this? No formal exercise.
Stay with the words. But very often students think, oh, I have to paraphrase all the words in the case notes. No, you don't. You can use the exact words from the case notes. Just make sure the grammar is correct.
So can I say had no formal exercise? So for example, James had no formal exercise.
Yeah, as long as you're writing, I mean, you're writing to a medical professional, yeah?
Okay.
Is that the example? If I'm writing to a doctor, he's going to understand no formal exercise. A nurse will understand that. A specialist will understand that, yeah? Maybe if you're writing to a parent, you might want to change your language, right? But yeah, 9 times out of 10, that would be correct. Okay, Abani, you've got a question as well, sir. You had your hand up. Okay,
Oh,
well,
sorry,
look.
that was the initial comment.
Right, okay. Well, I'm going to read this one. Honestly, what tends to happen in these sessions is that the same questions emerge again and again because everyone makes the same errors, don't they? So let's read this one and then ask me the questions, okay? So today, Mr. Smith completed the antibiotics. As a result, okay, so what's missing here? There's 2 clauses. And, yeah, right. So remember with the results language, if there's 2 clauses, you need and with as a result, okay? I don't need one with resulting in, right? Look, he had a fall resulting in what? His mother being sad.
All resulting in him having broken his arm.
Right, here guys, do I need and?
No.
Right, don't confuse that with as a result, right? If I want that, I would have to say as a result like this, right? What do I need now, guys? It's the same problem. I need and, right? Don't get confused with your results language. There's different types and different rules for each one, okay? Paul has some classes on this. He did them, was it last week or the week before? Go and watch his classes on results. Just search on ClassTube, okay? If you're not sure. Okay, so although he made a good recovery, he has increased risk of having. What do I need here? He has. Yeah, is it an?
And.
Yeah, it's an this time because this is a vowel. So an increased risk of having again, I'm going to do this tomorrow. A lung infection. Additionally, homeschooling was advised to his family due to. You can say an infection risk, yeah. Or you could say, does anyone know what else you could say? You could say the risk.
Or advice to his.
The risk.
Oh yeah, because you mentioned before the infection risk, so we can say the risk.
It's not to do with that, but that's also a reason you could do it, I suppose. But this is something else. Look, what goes here?
The risk of an
right? When you use of, very often you're going to use the. All right. Again, I'll try and talk about that one tomorrow. It's because of the of. Lots of article errors, but is everything in there, guys? The family's there, risk of infections there, antibiotics is there. Yeah, it's all there, right? In terms of Mrs. Smith's medical background, he has a history of cystic fibrosis, epilepsy, and chronic sinusitis infection. And yeah, that's fine. Regarding his lifestyle, is that 2 words or 1 word?
1 word.
1 word.
Yeah, so lifestyle, he has a sedentary life. Yeah. Do you want to say lifestyle again?
But isn't it repetition?
Yeah, exactly. So what can anyone suggest a better way?
Can we remove regarding his lifestyle and we just say socially?
You could say socially. I think that would work. Yeah, socially. What else can we do to say? Imagine I want to start though with this. Socially is good, very good. Why don't I use, remember sedentary is an adjective. So that means I can use the be verb, right? Anyone?
He is sedentary.
He is sedentary, right? And despite the fact that he has a healthy diet, his BMI is 228.5, right? Okay, so let's go back to this one. Actually, I prefer socially. It sounds better, right? So I'm going to go with the first suggestions. It just sounds nicer. Socially, he has a sedentary lifestyle. Okay, so what do we think about this? Any comments or questions about this one? Conciseness and clarity is great, right? Is all the content there? Is all the content there? I know we didn't put it in the plan, but what should be here, guys? Drugs, right? Was it Abani who was saying that we should summarize the drugs? He said appropriate medications. How could I put this in here, guys? If I want to put appropriate medications here, what can I say? I could use.
Please note.
I could use. Well, I can put it here. I could put please note, maybe. Please note he is taking the appropriate medications for the aforementioned conditions.
Yeah.
There's something else we can say though. What's another way to say it?
I can say is a known cystic fibrosis and epileptic patient on medication.
Yeah, on appropriate medications. Yeah. Yes. What about though, guys? We always teach for which, don't we, in class? What does for which mean? We use it with medications specifically.
After the disease, we can say for which.
For which. You don't. It's the same sentence, right? So for which he is
on medication.
He is on the appropriate. Medications. Okay, so that's a nice way of summarizing this. Anyone want to ask me a question here?
Very short summarize.
Well, it's this kind of skill of summarizing can really help you in the exam. It's not easy to teach it, and it's not easy to do it. Yeah, question.
Because we said it is important to allow for continued care. And if we don't mention this medication because we're referring this person to the surgeon for possible double transplants, I think it's still important for the surgeon to know the medication is being on. Is worth mentioning. We don't have to mention all the dosage for the doses, but it's worth mentioning because of possible drug interactions.
Okay, that would be good. So if you wanted to do that, you could just put that here and you could just say, please note that he is taking, this is the kind of decision you've got to make in the exam, right? I could also just list them here. Right? What's going in these gaps?
Creon, Bilmazyme, and...
okay, if I want to put dosage, say I'm worried about dosages, right? I'm thinking, maybe, where do I put the dosages? Here, right? Can I put them in brackets? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's fine. There's lots of different styles for putting in dosages. I don't think we need more than the dosage though, Fatima. I don't think we need the route, for example.
No, we don't need the route,
right?
but it's worth mentioning the medication itself.
So I would, I would say that if you did that, you're going to increase your content score, right? But you're not going to fail if you summarize it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Remember, it's not a yes, no. It's what's the maximum score you can get for content, guys?
7.
7, right?
7,
So
yeah.
that would be the perfect letter, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you summarize a bit too much. Maybe you're going to go down to 5 or 6, right? So it's a scale. Okay. I really like this one in general. Let's move on to the next one though, because I'm probably talking too much. All right. So this one, by the way, guys, if you want to just say this is mine, I normally do it anonymously, but if you want to just say this is me, you're welcome to do that. Okay. So today his condition is going well. His condition is going well. What's wrong with that? Already we have an error. His condition is going well.
Going better.
After today.
Sounds strange to say. Yeah, go on.
This condition is good. Improving.
Yeah. The condition isn't. In English, it sounds very strange to say that a condition is going.
Yeah.
We don't use that verb. What would we say about his condition?
Improve.
Improved.
Improving. You could say is improving or has.
Has improved.
Okay, if I say has improved, is that okay?
Yeah, and
No,
it means
yesterday.
We got today again, right?
Has made improvement. Yeah.
It's not wrong. It's just that it means that it all happened in one day, right? So why don't we just stick with is improving?
recently.
What's the best thing to say with today? What's the most natural thing to say? Today, his condition.
His condition
Improved.
I think the most.
Just past tense.
I would say he's making good progress.
Yeah, something like that. He is making good progress.
Yes.
Exactly. And antibiotics finished. So there's a problem here with this as well. And
Ellen, if we say he made good progress, and also we use today.
Yep.
Will it be okay?
No, because what that sounds like is that yesterday he didn't make good progress, but today he did.
Okay.
And that's not true.
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
Yeah.
You could say today he saw a bird in the window, right? Because that's true. That happened today, right? So go on, fella.
So, for example, can you say today his examination revealed that he has made a good progress?
Yeah, I like that, and it sounds very natural as well. So his examination revealed that he has, right?
That he has made a good progress.
It's all to do with the meanings, not so much the grammar, right? It's to do with, does that make sense? And that one makes sense because we're talking about, primarily we're talking about the examination revealing, okay? That's what happened today. But making good progress, that didn't happen today. Didn't only happen today, it also happened yesterday, right? So we'll talk about this tomorrow. I'm looking forward to doing this class because there's so many things we can discuss here, all right? But let me just try and finish this. So, however, he has increased risk. So he has, well, there's two errors here, guys.
Risk and risk of.
It's the same one, isn't it?
An
increased risk. Good. And what goes before antibiotics? It's not an.
The.
No. All right. Here's a tip. Who said the? Whenever you're thinking the, right, in OET, very often it's not the, it's his.
His.
Right? But it means the same thing. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. His and the, they function in the same way. Like they're saying this one, right? If I say the cup, I'm saying this one here. If I say his cup, very often it kind of means this cup here. Okay, I'll talk about that tomorrow in more detail. Let's finish this. So he has focal epilepsy. That's okay. There's no A. Good. And chronic sinusitis infections in addition. Okay, so firstly, what type of paragraph is this? This one here, guys.
Background, medical
background.
So
it's much better, Batul, to put a little linking phrase.
Yeah,
right?
regarding medical history.
Yeah, and all of you should be doing that, right? Regarding his medical history, right? Do I only talk about medical history in the background? Ashley, Elena, do I only talk about medical history in the background? No.
No.
I'm also
Social-
going to talk about
Social life.
social, right? So whenever you write these paragraphs, guys, you're always going to have two linking phrases. The first one will say, hey, I'm talking about medicine. The second one will say, hey, I'm talking now about social, right? Okay, so regarding his medical history, he has focal epilepsy, blah, blah, blah. What's the problem here? It's the same problem as before with the results one. Can anyone tell me why that's wrong?
And in addition.
Thank you, Hisham. Good man. Because there are two clauses. Remember I did a class on commas and clauses recently? Look, subject. Where's the verb? Here, right? I'm going to quickly go through this again, right? This is really important. So let me just put this here. So look, let's analyze this sentence now together. Where's the subject of the first clause? Subject, who can tell me this? Maybe Razhan or Yijit? The subject of the first clause in this sentence. Come on, guys, it's so easy. Come on, the subject of the first clause is he, right? Okay, where are the verbs? Or the verbs?
Has.
So when I see that, I know that I have one independent clause. Okay, but is there anything else? Is there another clause?
Yes,
He
has had in addition.
This tells me there's another clause here. Okay, so if I'm joining two clauses together, what do I need?
Linking.
Linking word, right? And no, it's not a linking word. This does not. In addition, is not a linking word. It's not a what we need is a conjunction. What's a conjunction?
And
I'm gonna be very intense now. I'm gonna stop the share. What's a conjunction? And, but, because, however, no, because is fine. And, but, because, yet, however. Those are the conjunctions, most of them, okay? So you join two independent clauses with conjunctions. So I need to put, forget about this. This is irrelevant in addition, right? It's not a conjunction. I need to put and, right? Does that make sense, guys? All independent clauses should be joined by conjunctions. There's one exception to the rule, though. What about if I said this? Although he likes milk, he didn't buy any. Do I need a conjunction here? Do I need a conjunction here? Just microphones off, please, if you can hear someone in the background. This is a really important point. It's worth slowing down. So Hisham, Elena, Beaz, Yijit.
Yes.
Do I need a conjunction here? And, but, however?
However is okay, I think.
But
nope. They're all wrong, right?
No.
We do not need a conjunction here because
although
there's although,
right? This is what's called a complex sentence. Complex sentences don't have conjunctions here. Did you know that, right? But complex sentences are very easy to find because they have one. They usually say things like although, when, if. These are complex sentences. When I buy milk, I am happy. While I watch TV, comma, I call my friend. If I win the lottery, I will be happy. There's no conjunctions here, right? But they're complex because they have these words instead. Okay, but this is not a complex sentence. Do you see any contrast here? Is there when or while or if here? No, it's two independent clauses being joined by conjunctions. Okay, so you've got to have your and. If you don't get this basic point, I'm going to repeat this tomorrow as well, then your sentence structure will be very bad. And it's very poor writing, okay? So, and, comma, in addition, he has cystic fibrosis since 2006. I'm sorry if I'm not trying to be negative about this person, okay? It's just very important. So due to which he has growth retardation. Problem with retardation. Can anyone tell me? Retardation.
It's still retardation. Retard we are used more for mental problems.
Yeah, we use it, and it can be regarded as offensive in that context.
Yeah,
we don't say
maybe
he is a retard, right,
he
anymore.
has poor growth.
But obviously, in this context, it's not talking about mental things. It's retardation. That's more of a, that can be like a scientific term. But I think just to be on the safe side, what do we really mean? He has growth.
Restriction.
Poorly.
Restriction is not a bad, but I can think of a better synonym beginning with I. M-P-A. Yeah, impairment, right? That to me is a safer word because retardation used in the wrong context can be offensive. I'll do more on sentence structure tomorrow. I will do more on this. I'm trying to do a lot of things tomorrow. Okay, so any questions on this? I know I've said a lot. Does anyone have anything they want to come back to me on for this?
Yes, please.
Go on, please, sir.
Yes. When you use contrast for although or despite, should the second clause will be at the same grammatical standard for the first one? For example, if I use despite being reluctant to start new medication.
Yeah, it's a good sentence. Despite being reluctant to start new medication. Yeah. She requires.
And after that, I start with the present simple. She requests.
She requests. Well, she requests. She requests. I think we're. Yeah, you could say requests.
Stop.
So what's the question? Are you saying what tense can we have here?
She requests more medication.
So in contrast, we can use different grammatical grammars. For example, I had used this passive. After that, can I use, for example, present continuous?
Yeah. You can actually have.
She requested.
So long as it makes sense, you can have almost any tense. Yeah, like she will start tomorrow, right? That's the future. I could use present perfect even probably. Despite being reluctant to start medication, she has listened to some online lectures about it, right? You can use any tense you want, more or less, but it has to make sense, right? Good question. Anyone else want to probe me more on this? I'll do more on this tomorrow because I think it's dead important if you want me to. Tomorrow's like a free day where we can discuss anything. Let's do one more then, and I'll wrap this up, and feel free to ask me questions at the end as well. So this is the final one, and then we'll just kind of do a nice overview. So today, although James conditioned, is that correct?
Yes.
It's good.
There should be S. Yeah.
This is okay. You don't need that. That's all right. I think he's a bit too young for just, he's a bit too old for just James. Maybe, I'm not 100% sure, but let's put the full name in here just to be sure, right? Although James Smith's condition has improved following antibiotics courses, that's okay. He has a high chance of getting frequent lung infections. Of getting? What's wrong with getting? Problem.
Informal.
Yeah, using get is almost always informal. What does it mean here? Get. Get has like 20 different meanings. It's a crazy word. But what does it mean here?
Going by infections.
Say that again. Sorry, we had a...
I said it looks like going and by infections.
Going, yeah, almost, but we need something.
Having
would work. Having, chance of having frequent lung infections. What else could we say here? Having.
Frisk.
Or we could say contracting. What does that mean, contracting? That's the verb we use for illnesses. I contracted a cold, right? I contracted a virus. Can you contract a lung infection? I think you can. Okay, anyway, having is good. As a result, he was advised for. Advised for?
Advised to.
No, not to.
To do, to go.
It was just discussed. It was not. It wasn't told to go and do it. So it's not do.
Regarding, maybe.
Regarding. Yeah, that's good. Or on, advised on.
Oh, yeah.
They were both good. Because we're just talking about it. We're not doing it, Hisham. If it was doing it, you could say he was advised to start homeschooling, right? Okay, so that's good, preposition thing. Let's finish this. And he has been referred to a chest physiotherapist as well as a dietitian. I don't think that's relevant. I don't think we need that one. What do you think?
It's
Am I wrong?
just, I think no, it's not wrong, but it's just to tell him what has been done for him. And
It's appropriate, isn't it? It's appropriate for the reader, but I mean, if I'm trying to summarize, maybe it's not the best choice, but it's not. It's certainly not really a bad error. Okay. What about this? In terms of his medical history, he has had cystic fibrosis since 2006. Okay. Resulting in poor growth of his lungs. Oh, right. Betul, remember I said before, do you remember this? With of, what do I need here very often?
The,
right.
Yeah, the.
So in addition, he has had symptomatic focal epilepsy and chronic sinusitis. His current medication includes blah, 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 3 times a day, blah, 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 blah. Is this a brand name, Creon? Or is that a generic name, guys? Do I need capitals?
Generic.
So no capitals then. I'll check that later.
Panadol is brand.
That's a brand name. So is that okay with the capital?
Yeah, that one is okay. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Socially, we'll just finish this off. So socially, he has a sedentary lifestyle and his BMI is 28.5 and his father died of lung cancer. That's pretty... Why is that? Does that sound strange to anyone else? Socially, his father died... I don't know about this. Why does that sound slightly wrong to me? It just doesn't work with socially.
Yeah.
Socially means like lifestyle, friends, hobbies. How about this? In terms of his social history. That sounds a bit better. Okay. With socially, it sounds a bit wrong with then suddenly the father dying. Okay.
Can we change it, for example, because we used in terms in the beginning, saying that regarding his social history.
Yeah, because we're repeating ourselves. Yeah, so good, exactly, good point. So regarding his social history, notice how we always need these 2 phrases, guys, in a background paragraph, right? 1, I'll put it in a color, and then 2. I'm going to put something right at the end because it seems to come out of the blue. He has a sedentary lifestyle, his BMI is 20.5, and please note that, right? This is a style thing. It just seems to come so quickly. You don't expect him to talk about that right at the end of the sentence, okay? So I'm going to say, please note that. All right, so I'm finishing there. I'll take some questions. But before I take questions, let's try and assess this. Think like an examiner and assess this one. This one seems okay to me. Is there anything missing in content? Recovering well, the antibiotics, is it there? The antibiotics? Talking to myself a little bit?
Yeah.
Of course it's there, right?
Yeah.
The cystic fibrosis and epilepsy, is it there?
Yes.
The family stuff, is it there?
Yes.
So I think it's quite a good one. Does anyone have anything about this they might want to say is wrong? Is there anything you don't like about this, apart from the grammar? I think this is the kind of thing where it's not perfect, right? There are some grammar errors, but it's the conciseness and clarity is good. The organization is good. The language can be improved a little bit, but that's almost there to getting your B. Very, very close. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to finish there, guys. and I'll take a few questions and then we'll go. All right. Does anyone have anything they want to ask me before I say goodbye?
Yes.
No, thank you so much, Alan.
Oh, thank you. Someone said yes, though, then.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do is, because I'm aware that we're now on 20 minutes past 1, right? Tomorrow, I'm going to look at articles with you. I won't spend a long time on articles because it gets really annoying, but I'll just give you some advice and tips on articles because lots of you are making errors. We'll talk about today, right? And
Yes.
tenses and currently, recently. And we'll talk about anything else you guys want to discuss. Okay.
Thank you, Alan.
I'll leave it there. Bye bye, guys. Thanks very much.
Thank
It's an
you.
absolute pleasure. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Have a nice day.